Don't you worry, don't you cry. I can promise it gets better in time. Keep your head up, keep your shine. Hold my hand up, it gets better in time.
Hi guys, I'm Ree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, baby, hit that subscribe button right here because you're gonna want to stay. If you're returning, hey besties, it's so good to see you guys again. So, as you can already tell by today's title, we're getting into another meal prep with Ree. Honestly, I've been having the best time meal prepping. It's been saving my life now that I'm back in the school building working my regular 9-to-5 job, and your girl is so exhausted after work that I just can't even imagine having to cook an actual full meal. Like, people do this on the regular. Kudos to you. It can't be me because I'm just so beat at the end of the day. So this video is gonna be super quick, super to the point, and the meals are all quick and delicious. I'm not even gonna hold a whole intro for you guys. We're just gonna jump right into the process because realistically speaking, you guys just wanna see the food. So everything will be on the screen. Any ingredients that I use, you'll see it on the screen. I will link any featured recipes down below in the description box. I will not be putting the macros on the screen. If that's something that people would really like me to do in terms of when I talk about my meals, or if I batch make something like muffins or cookies or things like that, please just let me know. That I really have been trying to refrain from doing that just because my portion sizes change daily, especially now that I'm batch cooking. I'm not specifically putting together a specific meal and I'm not like counting the calories that way, you know what I mean? So if that's something that you guys are interested in me doing, I'll do that from now on. Just let me know down below in the comment section. But for now, I just think it's really easy to just show you guys the food and then you guys can portion out your foods yourself. Because one, y'all already know the disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I'm currently working with a nutritionist and my trainer. So I'm just taking tips and tricks from them and I'm implementing them within my everyday life and just sharing them with you. I also don't want you guys to think that you guys need to eat the same exact portion sizes as me. You need to eat the same exact foods as me. You need to do everything that I'm doing. I really have been trying to stray away from putting the calories and stuff in my meal prep videos. Again, you know, I will do that for my what I eat in a day videos because people really want to see what that looks like realistically, everything in a day. But as I'm not showing you everything that I'm eating in a day, in this video is just showing you what I'm prepping. I'm just keeping it really chill, just showing you the food, just letting you guys enjoy the process, seeing the process. This meal prep took maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes with cleanup time included. This was a very, very quick meal prep. It's just about keeping things organized, keeping your station clean, and multitasking along the way. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop talking and rambling because I have the tendency to do that, and I'm gonna jump right on into this video. Something that makes meal prepping easier for me is gathering all of my ingredients that I need for a specific recipe and having them organized and easily accessible so that I can just kind of flow in the kitchen to make things efficient. I even take out the measuring cups and cooking utensils that I'm going to be needing just to make things really easy for myself. So to make the muffins, you're going to need 3 super ripe bananas, the browner the better, some creamy almond butter or your favorite nut butter of choice. I use super fine almond flour, but you can substitute for oat flour. The original recipe called for nutmeg. I didn't have that, so I swapped the nutmeg for some pumpkin spice seasoning. And of course, I had to have some cinnamon and salt for flavor, vanilla extract, and mini chocolate chip. The recipe will be linked down below, but it does not call for protein powder. I just figured that I would sneak the protein powder in. And then finally, some baking soda and eggs. In a bowl, we're going to combine our wet ingredients, starting with our mashed bananas, the creamy almond butter, vanilla, and an egg. This part really freaked me out because how do I crack 1 egg and there are 2 yolks? The math is not mathing. But anyways, we're going to mix until very well combined and it's smooth in texture. Next, we're gonna add all of our dry ingredients. So add the almond flour, baking powder, cinnamon, pumpkin spice seasoning, salt, protein powder, and finally some chocolate chips. Gently fold the batter in. Do not overmix, just mix until it's just combined. Next, lightly grease your muffin pan. You could totally use baking liners that you used for cupcakes, but I didn't have any, so the spray worked just fine. And then you're gonna fill each muffin tin 3/4 of the way up. I'm a chocolate girl, so of course I'm running back and topping all of my muffins with some more chocolate chips, but you could totally skip over this part, even swap the chocolate chips for your favorite topping, and then you're gonna pop them in the oven at 350 degrees for 18 to 22 minutes. Once they're finished baking, you're just gonna set them aside and allow them to cool. While the muffins are cooling, I'm going to take this time to season 2 really large chicken breasts. You could season to your liking. I'm using very basic seasonings today, just a little bit of salt, black pepper, garlic powder, parsley flakes, and a little bit of Cajun seasoning. Add as much or as little as you'd like and toss the chicken together until the seasonings are evenly coating the chicken. In a preheated, lightly greased cast iron skillet, I'm going to sear my chicken. People always ask me if I put oil in the pan. I do, but I try to reduce the amount of oil that I use. But I did lightly grease the pan, and I'm going to sear the chicken on both sides to get some really great color. While my chicken breasts are browning, I have 2 sirloin steaks that I'm going to season up with just some Montreal steak seasoning, the spicy kind because that's the best kind. And I'm keeping it super simple by just adding it to both sides, massaging it into the meat, and letting it rest before it cooks. Now I'm going to flip over my chicken as it's gotten some nice color. I don't mind that my seasonings get a little bit darker, that's just my preference, but if you prefer not to have that, just flip it sooner. Then I'm going to add some chicken broth to the pan and pop the chicken into the oven at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes or until the chicken is completely cooked. Now moving on to my steak, I'm just going to sear it on both sides for about 4 to 5 minutes. I have found that the older that I get, the more I prefer a medium well steak, so this is the only time you'll see me really eat pink meat or meat that has a little bit of pink in the center, but feel free to cook it for as long or as little as you like. I promise there's no judgments here unless it's chicken because we do not eat pink chicken. I took some shortcuts with this meal prep because I just really couldn't commit to anything super intricate today, so I picked up 2 of the Little Potato Company Savory Herbs Steamable Potato Packs. I will definitely buy these again because they were so good and the prep time was literally like 5 minutes. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel, you can just find easy hacks as long as the ingredients are clean. I'm just really gonna follow the directions on the side of the packaging, so I'm going to start by peeling back the film and removing both seasoning packs from the potato containers. It doesn't say that you have to, but I ended up washing the potatoes before placing them in the microwave for 5 minutes to steam. To keep things moving while the potatoes are in the microwave, I'm going to take the muffins from out of the muffin tin and place them on a wire cooling rack to help speed up the cooling process. I just wanted to show you guys what this muffin looked like on the inside, and baby, these were a 10 out of 10. Definitely loved them. We love a good texture shot. I will say they were a little bit drier because of the protein powder, so if you end up using the protein powder, add in a little bit more mashed banana and nut butter, but they were honestly so good and held up all week. Moving back to the potatoes, I'm going to remove them from the microwave and allow them to cool off a little bit, and then I'm just cutting them in half to make the eating process a little bit easier. Then I'm going to season with a little bit of parsley flakes and use one of the seasoning packs that came with the potatoes. I didn't add salt because I thought salt was going to be inside the packet, but you'll definitely need to add salt in your own time unless you're not a salt girl, and if that's your preference, that's fine, but I ended up having to add salt every time I prepared the potatoes during the week. I just added a cap full of olive oil for a little bit of moisture, tossed them together, and put them in a meal prep container to further cool. I never really make bacon or keep it in the house, so this is kind of a foreign experience to me, but I'm making Cobb salads for lunch, and what is a Cobb salad without some bacon? So here I am just frying up some bacon in a pan, and I'm just going to wait for it to get golden brown and crispy on both sides, and then allow it to drain before crumbling and setting it aside. Honestly, I have PTSD just watching back this footage right now because I got popped like 37,000 times on my face, on my thigh, on my hand. It was just a bad experience, but overall the bacon turned out perfect. on to the broccoli. Again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is just a steamable bag of broccoli, but I decided to not steam it in the original bag that it came in because I felt like I needed to really wash them. So here I am just chopping up the broccoli into smaller pieces and soaking them into some cold water. To cook my broccoli, I'm gonna add to a pan some garlic and red chili flakes. Please don't be alarmed with the liquid. It's not the liquid that comes in the water itself. I just added some water into the jar to help me get all of the garlic that was in the bottom because I just finished the jar. But anyway, I'm gonna saute that for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to add my broccoli and season it with some super basic seasonings like black pepper and onion salt, and of course some lemon juice. Once it's done, I'm gonna place it into a meal prep container, top with a little bit more lemon juice, and then set it aside to further cool before popping into the refrigerator. This part is so random, but I totally forgot that I needed hard-boiled eggs, so here is just me showing you guys boiling eggs. To store my banana muffins, I'm going to be using some Ziploc bags. I'm placing 2 muffins to a bag, and I don't really eat breakfast, so I was eating them as a snack. So maybe I had one right before my lunch and one right after dinner, but they held up really well this entire week in a bag. You do not have to refrigerate them nor freeze them, but if you want to, you totally can. It's just your preference. And now that my chicken is completely cooked and cooled, I'm gonna thinly slice it and prepare it for my salads. It turned out so good and it was really juicy and flavorful. Now, of course, we had to run back the mason jar salads because those are my jam these days. And as I mentioned, we are making chicken Cobb salad. So I'm going to layer some cucumbers, corn, hard-boiled eggs, some blue cheese crumbles, bacon, chicken, and lettuce. And then I'm gonna top them with an airtight lid and seal it off. And these held up so good in the refrigerator this entire week. I had no problem with anything going bad or wilting. I only made 4 here on camera because my other mason jar was preoccupied in the fridge, but I did have enough to make 5 salads. I just made it off camera during the week when I needed it. So here's everything that I made in today's meal prep. It was super quick and easy. It's just all about multitasking and keeping things organized. It maybe took me an hour and a half max with cleanup. Okay, so you know, of course, I have to show you how I'm eating these meals this week. So the first week was super simple. It was just some potatoes that I threw in the air fryer to crisp up a little bit, and I paired it with some broccoli and of course the steak, and it was a 10 out of 10. Juicy and delicious. The steak was like perfect. The next meal that I made was this air fried gnocchi, roasted vegetable and pesto spinach like concoction with the steak on top, and when I tell you, it was a 10 out of 10. Like, I will make this again.